My name is Jade Novah. I'm a singer, songwriter, actress, funny girl, wife, mother, all of that. So where have I been? I'm really excited about this album because it was an opportunity for me to combine all my gifts together, everything that I love to do, from acting, storytelling, and of course music. So I wrote a script and I told the story from beginning to end, and I call it a love language origin story because my love language is words of affirmation. And that came because I didn't hear verbal affirmation from my father growing up. And so it's a non-traditional project. I say it's like a visuals through sound, and I had some really amazing features on it that were more non-traditional. Wayne Brady plays my father, Leslie Odom Jr. plays my love interest Miles, Tabitha Brown plays my therapist, oh my goodness, Tony Baker, he plays my boss on the album, Gail Bean, she plays my bestie, and then I have musical features from Kenyon Dixon and Tank of Taking the Bangers. So for me, it's just been a labor of love. My husband, Devin Johnson, he executive produced it, and it's about self-love. I think it's something that everybody can relate to. I know that as I've been telling my story of just getting to healing and just finding myself in sort of telling my story, that a lot of people have touched and connected with it as well. And I call it Where Have I Been because it goes on the journey to my childhood, how, not hearing I love you showed up in my relationships, and then ultimately how I was able to use words of affirmation to affirm myself. But then it's also called Where Have I Been because we are our own heroes, we're our own saviors. Like nobody's coming to save us. Like, the saying, like, where have you been all my life? Like, I'm saying that to myself, like, where have I been all my life? Because I've been waiting on someone to validate me when ultimately I had to be the person to do it for me. And it's freeing and it's liberating. And, oh, girl, that's what the project's about. Well, Tabitha Brown is really funny because I do comedy, and during quarantine, I had created this series called Real Divas where I just was playing all these different characters, Beyonce, Erykah Badu, just some of your favorite divas. And I impersonated Tabitha Brown, but I created like her evil twin sister, Tabitha Black. So, like Tabitha Brown is on her vegan, very good, all that. But Tabitha Black was like, that's my business vibes, So she saw it and she loved it, and we've been following each other ever since. And so, yeah, I reached out to her and was like, hey, I know you don't really know me like that, but, I love what you do. I'm a fellow plant-based goddess as well, and I'm telling the story, and I know she's an actress as well. She's such an incredible, multifaceted human, and she was just gracious. She was like, yeah. She's like, but do I get to play Tabitha Black? I'm like, nah, sis. But we actually did end up naming the character Dr. Black in a little homage to Tabitha Black, so there's a lot of crossover there. But I think that's a funny story because I didn't know how she was gonna take it. It was all in love, playing this character, but yeah, she loved it. I love doing Beyonce, really, because first of all, I am definitely a Beehive member from day one. And I think it's just seeing the look on people's face when I impersonate her is really, yeah, it's shocking to people. And I know that she loves it as well, so I'm all for it. Queen Bee, period. Empathy is a tool that I don't think enough people tap into. And I mean, it really is just, if your partner is experiencing something, no matter what it is, even if it doesn't have anything to do with you, taking the time to listen to what's coming up for them, holding space for them, and then putting yourself in that situation. Because a lot of times we just talk at each other, we argue towards each other, there's no solution, we don't feel seen. But empathy is a tool that really allows you to put yourself in that other person's situation, and then you can know, okay, I've been there before, I know how that feels. And so it makes you relate to them on a deeper level, but then it also makes the person who needs empathizing to feel seen. And I know that has been a really helpful tool. Empathy and grace. Because look, we're all healing. Even if we're healing, it's still a never-ending journey. And I'm just grateful that Devin has been not only a very empathetic person and someone who holds space for me, but he's also given me grace, because healing can be ugly sometimes, and but ultimately beautiful, I get inspiration from real life. Like, I have a really overactive imagination. So simple situations, if I see two people walking down the street, I've already created a whole scenario, how they met, what's going on, how long they've been together, how do they know each other. So just people watching, and then just going into my own personal experiences and creating like works of art out of them, like I did with this last album. And then who inspires me? I'm inspired by so many different people. Let me think right now though, I'm inspired by my son, I have to say. He is 15 years old, and being a mother, as you are, you know that there's a lot of inner child work that comes with being a mother, because there are mirrors for us, and as they're getting older, it, triggers things that we experience, whether it's dating or finding yourself or not quite knowing yourself yet. He inspires me daily, and he keeps me young, and he allows me to play and be creative in a way that I'm so grateful for. So yes, my son inspires me a lot. Well, I would say that you have to change your idea of what success looks like. Because growing up for me, I grew up in an era where you had to sign to a major label in order to have visibility. But now there's so many opportunities. I mean, with social media, even with it changing and shifting, we still have an opportunity to be able to reach large amounts of people organically just from putting our art out there authentically, and we don't have to sign to major labels. And we are able to make a living doing what we love, even if it doesn't look like this picture perfect ideal of what society has sort of painted success to look like, specifically with the arts, and I think that it's a beautiful time. I know it's ever changing, and there's a lot of things that need to kind of be recalibrated for us to really have true ownership and true visibility, but I think having a realistic expectation of what you actually desire and what you're doing it for. Because for me, I am so blessed and grateful to be able to do this independently. I don't have to be a billionaire in order to feel like I've reached success. I say this quote all the time, and it's probably in 85 interviews, but I don't care, because everyone needs to tap into this mindset. But there was a Dave Chappelle interview, I don't even remember where it was from, but he was speaking about how both of his parents are educators or something along those lines. And either way, they were reluctant about him getting into the entertainment industry, because they're like, well, not everybody makes it. And he's like, well, if I can do comedy making a teacher's salary, then I've made it. And that changed so much for me, because you think that, oh, if I don't have a Grammy and if I haven't done this, then I'm not successful. But it's like, what's the alternative? If you really love music, then doing music and being able to sustain yourself is a success story. So shifting your perception of success is really going to take the pressure off of you feeling like you have to compete with these major label artists, because a lot of times they don't have creative control. They don't have musical integrity. And like you said earlier, it's not really even about talent a lot of times. I feel like celebrity is just a vessel to market to the masses. And that sometimes the talent is like a cool bonus, but yeah, get out of your way, shrink the ego, and fall in love with the process. Those are all my tips, honey. Ooh, I'm so glad you asked me this question, because I answered this question on a podcast a little bit ago, and I hated that I couldn't come up with anything. So I've been thinking, okay, my top 5 artists: Stevie Wonder, Erykah Badu, Beyonce. I guess I haven't been thinking about it. I mean, I have, but not the solution. Okay, Stevie Wonder, Beyonce, Erykah Badu, Brandy. Who am I gonna go with as my favorite? I'm gonna go with Jill Scott. I'm gonna go with Jill. Yeah, Jilly from Philly. She's a storytelling queen. My definition of grinding pretty. I would say it is being a woman who is committed to their healing. Because pretty is not just an aesthetic, it is a state of mind. And when you are truly committed and dedicated to your elevation in this life, you are on the road to grinding pretty. That's it. Hey, I'm Jade Novah. Thank you for grinding pretty with me.